What's up, y'all? It's the Shaman of Shank back at you with another one. And of course, I got a special one for you today. It's pretty daggum cool. It is essentially the knife that I reviewed in the previous video, the Headless Horseman. But I fell in love with that knife so much, I had to get my hands on the originator, the original version of that knife, which is the Horseman, guys. And as you see, this knife, it has been done up in some micarta by none other than the Tom Ingleson, who I rave about on here, and they are beautiful. That is cross-cut brown micarta, just to let you know, just to give you some info on it. But yeah, aside from that, yeah, oh baby, 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 I'm in love with this design. I'm in love with the size, the ergonomics, the blade. Absolutely phenomenal. So I tell you what, let's get into it. And as you know, on the Headless Horseman, which makes it the Headless Horseman, is there is no wave. But as you see here on the basic standard model, you have the wave, which is awesome because I think in that last video I even made mention that I can imagine this knife with the Emerson wave, you know, with that little thumb ramp right there, doubling as that. And of course also, you know, pocket extraction with the quickness is phenomenal, and it feels great, just as I expected. And of course, this is in Thunderstorm finish. I had to get it because I do love that finish. I always rave about it. And this one's, you know, this one is the basic Thunderstorm finish. When I compared the Thunderstorm finish on the Headless Horseman, it was a lot darker, like a matte black dark. And of course, this is that shimmery, shiny, beautiful, beautiful blade. But yeah, guys, same blade length, coming in at 3.4 inches. And of course, I had to do it, guys. I on the group on Facebook, Emerson Knife Owners, the Emerson Knife Owners group, EKOG. Shout out to y'all if you're watching. I saw a couple of guys post their Horsemen with serrations, and I said, I need that. I need that in my life. So I said, you know what? I gotta get it. And I did, guys. I got the serrations on that baby. This horse will bite you, for real. This horse will bite. It's got some teeth on it. Never look a gift horse in the mouth. You know that old saying, because it will bite you. This is a phenomenal knife with serrations. And this is my third knife from Emerson that has serrations. The first one being, I got the Patriot in serrations, then I got the Super CQC7 with serrations. Both phenomenal knives, both shine like a diamond with serrations. And I also made the comment that, you know, anything above like a 3.7 to 4 inch blade with serrations, you're not going to miss any blade. And with this coming in at on paper 3.4 inches, let me tell you something, you're not missing any blade at all. Look at that. I mean, the serrations come up about right over a quarter of the way, and you got that awesome, beautiful belly right there. Plenty of blade. I completely understand not liking serrations, especially in some situations. You know, if it's a camp knife, of course, you know, for whittling, or, you know, making any kind of tinder, you know, some, you know, that's making like a ribbon stick, you know, to start a fire. I can definitely understand wanting that to be straight, pure straight edge. But this is an everyday carry, get her done. You got everything you need in the perfect package. And I did say that about the Headless Horseman. It is the perfect package. And of course, you know, with the Headless Horseman being the perfect package, this is the originator. This is the Horseman. And it is the same exact thing. If not, to be honest with you, I like it even a little bit better. I'm not going to lie to you guys. They're both phenomenal knives, but I have been carrying this thing like crazy. I was carrying the Headless Horseman, and then I pulled the trigger and got a Horseman, and this thing has swooped right on in and rode itself right on into the pocket, and I've been carrying it like crazy every day, and I have no want to put any other knife in my pocket right now, as of now. But it is phenomenal. These serrations are phenomenal. They really are. On this size blade, perfect. And like I said, guys, in many other videos I've mentioned, you know, you have to hold a knife to really get a feel for it. And let me tell you something, this knife feels phenomenal in the hand. Of course, the CQC8, amazing ergonomics. And of course, this is being AKA the mini CQC8. You know, it hasn't changed a bit. Same ergonomics, of course, as the Headless Horseman. It's just, you know, essentially you got that wave on there, and it doesn't have flipper action. So it's just a good old down home OG Emerson that knocks it out of the park. This, I still stand on it. I still stand on it. I think this knife I've went from saying it may be to, in my own personal opinion, this, in my opinion, is the best EDC option for anybody across the board. You know, if you're not into recurves, it really don't appeal to you, which I do love the recurve, and it serves many purposes. I understand that, it really does. But this blade is a crowd pleaser. It's an everyday, you cannot go wrong with this blade. When it comes to sharpening, when it comes to utility, when it comes to any daggum thing that you want a knife to do in your everyday life or work, whatever it may be, this knife will get it done. And like I said, those serrations just add to it. You know, God forbid you're in an emergency with needing to cut a seat belt, needing to, you know, you need something a little bit more get in there and get her done than just a straight edge. It's definitely there for you. And like I said, you got plenty of belly right there on that blade to do whatever you need a plain edge to do. But absolutely phenomenal. And this knife is pretty much the exact same as it came, except of course, you know, I put that micarta on there from Tom Ingleson. And of course, this bad boy's been swapped around so many daggum times. It's like, who do I belong to? Where am I at? The Arrowhead thumb disc from Collis. Great. This thing, I think I own 3 of them. And this bad boy is swapped around, and I thought that would look great on that brown cross-cut micarta, and it does. It looks phenomenal, feels phenomenal, and really fills out this knife. I really hope Emerson does a run of the Horseman with some micarta or some type of contoured scales on it, because it really does fill out this knife. Whenever this knife came to me, of course, it came in the basic black G10, which feels great. Have nothing but great things to say about it. But man, when you slap some contoured scales on these things, it really fills out your hand and it just refines the knife. It really does. And I think they should make that an option, especially for this knife, because this knife should be the EDC of Emerson. It really is. I mean, there's so many knives on there. I consider every knife that Emerson makes an EDC essentially. But when it comes to just across the board, every box being checked, this knife, with serrations or without, I can see it just being that knife. Absolutely phenomenal. And of course, I'm going to break out the Headless Horseman just to compare. And as you see, you know, if you're interested in this one, fancies you a little bit more than this one, which they're both super awesome. The video before this one, I reviewed the Headless Horseman, and it has the spotlight completely, but I cannot let it steal from the Horseman. They are the exact same length, blade, whatever, all the way from tip to butt. They're the exact same, excluding, of course, the scales. This has the Contour G10, which I went into that more in that other video, and you can check that out if you wish. But same exact size, just as you see, no flipper. And this one, of course, has the flipper. Pretty much same. I mean, they're the exact same. Ergonomic wise, everything wise, no serrations on this one. Got serrations on this one. So yeah, we got 2 bad daddies right here. 2 bad horsies in the stable, ready and willing to get it done. Absolutely phenomenal. And as you see, you know, going back to that thunderstorm finish, absolutely like matte black, shimmery, shiny, beautiful goodness. And they both are awesome looking. No doubt about it. But yeah, guys, phenomenal. The Headless Horseman is still available, but it's only available in satin, which, I mean, it's not a bad thing at all, but it still is on there if you want to go in there and get that, because I think there's under 20 left, or maybe right over 20. So get on there if you're interested in the Horseman is available on the website if you wish to do that. But I also want to break out the full-size CQ-C8 with this and kind of show you the difference there. As you see, guys, I know on camera sometimes it can be so, you know, you really, like I said, you never know until you hold it side by side. But, you know, it does feel like a completely different knife. It feels like a different nature of knife for a better way to compare this. When I hold the CQ-C8, I feel like I'm holding an absolute monster of a knife, a beast ready just to go out there. Like, this is a knife that I would take anywhere, anytime, any day. And so is this one. But this one just feels more, I don't know, it feels more like battle ready. Like, this thing is just an absolute force. And I understand people that may say, you know, this knife may be a little bit too big for them, which, I mean, of course, for me, it's not. But I do understand that. But if the CQ-C8 you feel is a little bit too out there, a little bit too big for your carry, I promise you, and I can't say it enough, this knife, the Horseman, will tickle your fancy. This knife is amazing. And I saw a review on the Emerson website a while back, a guy made a comment. I think he made it on the Headless Horseman, but I mean, of course, they're the exact same knife. You're going to get the exact same ergonomics essentially across the board with this knife as you would. But he said this is a knife your grandfather would carry. You know, with it's got dignity and it's you know, it's distinguished. And it's so amazing and so true. When I read that, I'm like, this really is a knife that a grandfather would carry. Any age can carry, of course, legal age to own a knife and carry it. But I can see any age carrying this knife. It really does feel that way. It feels absolutely classic, and it will do any job you need it to do. Amazing spine on that, as you see. Wow, that blade does look, I think it's mainly the collis disc kind of taken away and making it look a lot shorter than what it may be. But yeah, but you know, that is, of course, bladed. It looks like a little tiny tyke on there, but it's not, guys. I promise you, this knife feels great. And this is coming from a guy who loves bigger everyday carries. And I tell you what, lately I have really been kind of fancying that 3.5, right in that range. And of course, this is coming in at 3.4, and it's meeting every need I could possibly make with it. And weight wise, you know, you got, I believe it's coming in at 4.7 ounces, which is perfect pocket size. You know, you're not going over 5 ounces. It feels great in the pocket. You really don't even know it's there, to be honest with you, but you know, it is there. Essentially, you know, when you put your keys and stuff in there, you know, but it doesn't bother you one bit. I mean, the CQC8, of course, you'll definitely feel it a bit more, but nothing extreme, you know, back and forth, blah, 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 blah. Great everyday carry, guys. And I really do want to compare it also size wise. Anybody out there who has a CQC7 and you do not have a Horseman, I'll kind of show you the difference in that. Wave to wave, you're looking at about right at the same blade length, essentially. But for some reason, the Horseman does feel a little bit, well, not really. They really feel kind of essentially the same. I think just the blade design is so, you know, drastically different in these. They're two completely different knives. But they are pretty much exactly the exact same dadgum size. I mean, of course, you know, it looks like the Horseman kind of tips up a little bit on it right there. Both amazing knives. But just to kind of give you an idea, you know, just to break it out and show you the difference between the size difference. If you are to have a CQC7 and you're on the fence about a Horseman, you know, and you kind of want to, like, I wonder how big that thing is, you know. And also, I got to break out an OG, because I think when I reviewed the CQC8, I made the comment that the knife reminded me of the Buck 110, which they're completely different looking knives, completely different feel, design, and everything, but it just had that, it aroused that emotion in me that the Buck 110 used to, and I had to break out the Buck 110 to kind of compare size-wise. Of course, the Buck 110 has sporting right on a 4-inch blade, and of course you got a 3.4 here, so of course the blade is going to be a bit more longer, but you know, two different knives that absolutely make me happy. Very, very happy. Yeah, but they feel great. Both feel great. Both feel so familiar. Like, and I think that's so important when it comes to a knife. You know, if you, especially if you've been carrying knives for a while and you're wanting to, you know, get a knife, a new knife, you really want to be familiar with it. You know, sometimes it's great to step off the beaten path. I mean, of course, Lord knows I have definitely stepped off the beaten path from what I used to carry. I used to, like I said in past videos, the Buck 110, the Buck 112, and then going to Emerson and, you know, trying all these array of different blades, because he is wild with the designs and they are so, so useful and so great. And it's really great sometimes to step off that beaten path. But let me tell you something. If there's one Emerson that you want to own and you want to really kind of kick the door in and say, I want to try Emerson, I really do, I definitely highly recommend the Horseman. You really can't go wrong. It's got a, you know, a classic, you know, kind of like they call it a saber blade, but you know, you got that little clip right there, great point, great spine for stabbing, whatever you need to jam it into something. You know, you ain't got to really worry about, you know, be too strenuous or too upset about, you know, or on the fence about chip or breaking that tip, which of course, within reason, as I've said in the past, plenty of blade on it, guys. This knife, yet it may not be crazy intimidating like its bigger brother, the CQC8, it still is a, would be an exceptional, you know, self-defense tool. There's no doubt about that. Well, I mean, and like I said before, you can say it about many knives, but this knife, of course, beating a dead horse, Horseman, beating a dead horse, you can use any type of knife for self-defense, but this this design was made for, you know, self-defense. It really was. And with it being downsized, of course, it makes it a lot more friendly to everyday use, everyday carry. And when you flip this thing out of your pocket, I don't think you're going to scare off too many people, which, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's a pretty unique looking knife, but yet it, like I said, feels familiar, looks familiar. And I can't really say enough about it in that department. It is absolutely phenomenal. Phenomenal. Guys, I highly recommend checking out the Horseman. It really does. I mean, out of all the mini, well, how many minis do I have? This would be considered a mini CQC8. And of course I have a mini Commander, and I would choose this. I love the mini Commander. It's a great knife, but I would choose this any day. I should have brought the mini Commander here to show you, compare it, but whatever. But this knife is definitely top of the minis. There's no doubt about that. And that is my opinion. If you have another Emerson that you consider an awesome mini, that's completely fine. But this knife, it doesn't feel like a mini, guys. It feels like, and I'm really glad they kind of went away from the whole mini aspect of this and calling it the Horseman. Because I mean, it even says right there on the thing, because all the other minis, you know, they say mini, blah, 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 mini, whatever mini version it is. This one is the Horseman. And I'm really glad they did that, because it really is a standalone knife. I mean, this is not, it doesn't feel like a mini at all. It feels like this is a knife to itself. Like this really is a standalone knife, and it really is kind of a one and done knife. Again, if you're not a complete psycho like me. Great knife, great, amazing knife. And I'm also a little cool side note here. You know, the whole term Horseman, you know, how that came along, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I was just reading around and saw a couple of people make comments about it. Evidently, a guy was riding a horse that was carrying the mini CQC8 at the time, and evidently he got caught up in the straps of his horse, and he fell off the side, and he was getting dragged by his horse, and he broke out his mini CQC8 to free himself from that strap. And I heard that is where the name got it. That's where the knife got its name from, the Horseman. But I don't know if that's true or not. Whatever it is, regardless of what it's called, I don't care if it's called the dadgum, the Woodsman. I don't care, the whatever the hell you can think of to call a knife. It's a great knife. But that's a pretty cool little side note there, and it's an amazing knife, guys. I really can't say enough about it. Definitely check it out. You have to check it out, guys. Especially if you're looking for like a knife just to carry every day. A knife that you really ain't gonna have, there really is no need to switch this knife out for any other knife. I mean, it fits the bill on size, it fits the bill on ergonomics, weight, and utility, and of course, self-defense. Amazing knife. The Emerson Horseman, guys. Check it out. And also, like I said, don't be shy about them serrations either. You're not going to lose any blade. But then again, I can definitely appreciate not getting serrations if you don't want them. No doubt about it. But it is amazing, guys. Check it out. We're a day away. It's Christmas Eve today. It's the day before Christmas Eve. And I want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas. Praise the Lord. All about some Jesus, baby. I love me some Jesus. And I wish you all the best, and I wish you all the very merriest of Christmases. But let me tell you something. Whenever you go down around that tree and you're opening up your gifts and you're like, what the heck did I get in this? What the heck could be in this box? I want you to pull out that Horseman. Or if you ain't got one, pull out whatever you got in your pocket. But I want you to make sure that it's really sharp, so you know you don't make jagged edges on that box or anything, and you just pop that bad boy wide open the way it should be. And just like that thing you pull out of your pocket to open up that present that Santa brought you, I want you to stay sharp.